Hello again, everyone. Now it's time for you to sound like a native. In this class, I'm going to give you a map for your English pronunciation. I've learned that just listening and repeating is good, but having a map that tells you how to pronounce, what intonation you need to give, and other things like stress is very useful in really making your English sound more like a native. Now, let me give a quick explanation. First, we have blue, orange, and sometimes purple. Blue is linked words or blended phrases that I will explain. These orange slashes are natural pauses. And if a word is purple, that means I'm going to focus on it more for pronunciation. Now, you'll notice some words have capital letters. This is not grammatically right, but I made it like this to show you stress. For example, in about. About. There's stress on the second syllable, not the Now, I will not explain every single word. That's why I made these capital letters for you to naturally be able to see where that stress is. Wonderful. Now, should we get started? There's something special about making it yourself. Here, there's something special. We're going to have an upward intonation tone. Now, theirs is a contraction. There is, put together, is theirs. Theirs. Now we have 3 S's here, so we need to be careful. There's something special. There's something special. Good. There's something special. Make sure you're putting your stress on the first syllables of something and special. Also, can you hear this G? There's something special. There's something special. When we say it slowly, we can hear it, but if it's said naturally and quickly, there's something special. That G disappears and blends in together. After that, we have a natural pause. Natural pauses allow the listener to comprehend and understand what we're saying. We add natural pauses after commas, after important chunks, or when we want to give more emotional emphasis. We also use them a lot when we're explaining something or telling a story. Here, there's something special about making it yourself. We're putting emphasis on the second part of this sentence, making it yourself. Let's look at the stress here. About making it yourself. Our intonation is going downward. Be careful not to say yourself. Yourself is 2 syllables with the stress on the second one. About making it yourself. Yourself. Then let's read it one more time together. There's something special about making it yourself. Turns out. Here, what happened to my intonation? It goes up. That's because we're introducing the rest of the sentence, our idea. Turns out, I use salt instead of sugar. I use salt instead of sugar. Here, turns out. Do not separate these words too much. 너무 천천히 얘기하면 불자연스러워요, 영어에는. Turns out. Good. We have a natural pause after our comma, and I use salt instead of sugar. Here we're comparing or contrasting salt and sugar, so these naturally will have more stress in the sentence. I use salt instead of sugar. Good. And our instead of has a blend. We don't say instead of. Instead of. Our stress is on the second syllable, and of is a function word. That means it blends together. Instead of sugar. This is a purple word. That means we're going to practice our pronunciation. Here, don't say sugar. Sugar is common in Korean pronunciation, but this is sugar. Sugar. Then one more time all the way through. Turns out, I use salt instead of sugar. At least it saves us from all those extra calories. At least. Whenever we say at least, 적어도, it's going to go up. At least it saves us. At least it saves us. We're going to go down in intonation after that. From all those extra calories. Here, let's look at the blend in it saves us. It saves us. 어색합니다. Instead, blend them together. It saves us. It saves us. It saves us from all those extra calories. Now, these are our content words in the sentence, so they're going to be extra stressed, which means we're going to say them slowly. However, these are words that I hear mispronounced often. Extra. extra 말고 extra. Extra. This is 2 syllables and the stress is on the first one. X. Extra. Next, calories. 칼로리 말고 calories. 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 Then let's put them together. Extra calories. Extra calories. Then one more time all the way through. At least it saves us from all those extra calories. Now we only chose about 3 sentences from the story here. That's because I choose the sentences that will be the most useful for your speaking. I'm not going to choose very descriptive sentences. Here, things like at least, it saves us from, turns out, are all phrases that are extremely common in speaking. However, there are still some words from the story that I want to practice. That's where I will put them in further word practice. First, homemade. This is 2 syllables and I hear homemade a lot. Instead, homemade. 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 Decorate. Decorate 말고 decorate. Decorate. Decorate the room. Decorate the cake. Interesting. Interesting. Here, there's a lot of syllables, so I hear some stress mix-ups. Something like interesting or interesting. Make sure the first syllable is stressed. Interesting. Interesting. That's all for today. That is our first day, and there are so many more wonderful lectures to come. I will see you in day 2. Bye-bye! 1. There's something special about making it yourself. There's something special about making it yourself. There's something special about making it yourself. 2. Turns out I use salt instead of sugar. Turns out I use salt instead of sugar. Turns out I use salt instead of sugar. 3. At least it saves us from all those extra calories. At least it saves us from all those extra calories. At least it saves us from all those extra calories.